Hey, what's up, world? This is Sway. I got a special Grammy edition of Raw. Now, in 2005, there was no bigger story in music than the remarkable comeback of Mariah Carey. 4 years after releasing Glitter, the movie that bombed, getting dropped by her record company, and 2 stints in the hospital for what Mariah herself labeled exhaustion, the down but not out diva pulled it together and released an undeniable classic. The Emancipation of Mimi beat out 50 Cent's The Massacre as the biggest selling album of 2005 and earned her 8 Grammy nominations, including Record, Song, and Album of the Year. It's been an amazing turnaround that arguably wouldn't have happened without the help of her longtime collaborator, Jermaine Dupri. Now, just days before music's biggest night, MTV News caught up with both MC and JD to get some never-before-told Mimi moments. You probably caught a few sound bites, but now we really going to get into it. First and foremost, congratulations on your Grammy nominations.
Thank you.
Including Album of the Year.
Thank you.
I know The Emancipation of Mimi. This has to be very gratifying for you.
It's incredibly gratifying, and I think we've spoken a couple times throughout this project, and it's just been like incredible blessing one after another. So it's amazing.
You and Jermaine Dupri, this is like a award-winning tandem, the two of you. Every time you guys come together, you always produce hits. You know, at what point did you decide to work with Jermaine on this album?
Well, I always want to work with Jermaine. I've worked with Jermaine on every actual album that I've done. But this time around, he was really busy with Usher in the beginning of the recording process. And it wasn't that I called and was like, oh, he was like, oh, I'm busy with Usher. No, he was just out winning awards with Usher. And I was like, let me just do other things and whatever. And then I saw him in Mexico, played him some of what I had. He had certain favorites, one of which didn't even make it onto the album. And we were planning on working together. And finally, I was like 15 songs deep into the record. And both L.A. Reid and Benny Medina were like, why haven't you and J.D. gotten together yet? And it's like, I was like, I don't know, maybe he's busy. And I called him, he's like, come down tomorrow. So I came down there, my usual 2, 3 in the morning, you know, arrival. They were like, thanks, you know, because typically they're going out to the club at that time. So we worked till like 6, 7 in the morning. And I think the first one we did Like That and Shake It Off.
I wasn't even part of her record at first. It was just like something that I think L.A. was determined to do. He's like, yo, you just got to go. Because this is what he tells me, that one of his favorite records is one of the records that I did for her, which was Always Be My Baby, you know, a long time ago. That's one of his favorites. And he was just like, one of the biggest records you ever made was with Jermaine, and he, you know, he's not on this record. So he sent her to Atlanta, and we got in the studio, and, you know, the first record we made was Shake It Off. I think that was the first record we made. And then the second record we made was Can I Get Your Number? That was the second record. And then, you know, she went back home and played those songs, and L.A. was like, y'all seem like y'all got something.
Nobody couldn't tell me that Shake It Off wasn't going to be my first single and my favorite song. And all my friends were like, you got to put that song out first, just from the demo. And I was like, I know, I love it. I don't know what to do. So then L.A. was like, you guys should go back down there. Go back to Atlanta and do one more just to see what happens, because you make magic together.
When I went in the studio, that was my whole thing. It was just like, you know, Mariah, let's get back to, let's just make records that remind me of, you know, the records that I used to hear before I even worked with you. So I had to give her a piece of me, and at the same time she gave me a piece of her, and we, like you said, a collaboration together. So it became something that's, I guess, unbreakable at this point.
Okay, let's talk about It's Like That. Okay. Now I want to understand, what do you come up with some of these lyrics? Because they're some of the most catchiest lyrics. And when you listen to them, you go, wait a minute, what made her think of them girls are ash and I'm lotion?
It actually says them chickens is ash and I'm lotion. Well, we were sitting around basically having jokes. Like, I never thought, okay, I put so much time and effort into my lyrics usually, and usually I'm alone, like I said, on a beach, just writing and scribbling things out and going over and over. But when I do get with people that I like to work with and to collaborate with lyrically, it's cool, particularly when it's like from the school of like people that do rap music as well, because, you know, obviously I'm a big hip-hop fan, but also it's like a different perspective and a different like take on things. So I was sitting there and we're just joking around, and Jonte Austin, who also worked on the song with us, I think everybody else had passed out at that point, and we were sitting there on the beanbag chairs. Jermaine has these beanbag chairs in the studio, and we're like making up stupid stuff just to entertain ourselves at this point. And then Jermaine came back in the room, and we're all sitting there going, something about ash and lotion. I don't even know how it happened, but it was like, okay, here's the rationale. We're not saying, we're not calling somebody ashy. We're actually saying you actually are ash and we're lotion. So basically, like, you are the antithesis of us. Like, basically, we're talking to the guy, like, I'm talking to the guy like, them chickens is ash and I'm lotion. You need to get rid of them and I'm the antidote. It's just to make the girls going out to the club that night feel good. I look at it as a feel-good lyric. Like, you're getting ready to go out, you're in the mirror, you don't know about this because you're not a girl. You just, guys just get dressed and go. Girls, we take time, we put on music we want to listen to, we get the makeup together, you be in the mirror like, them chicken is ash and I'm lotion, you know, getting ready to go out. I was like, we need to inspire the girls. You know what? Never did I think after all these years of writing songs and being like, no, I can't say that, no, that the them chickens is ash and I'm lotion is going to be the Grammy-nominated song.
That's great, though, however you get it.
You know what? It's fun, though, because it's like the real me having a good time, and that's what's really cool about it.
The Calgon lyric.
JD, I have to,
just like what it said, just like
just like the Calgon commercial. Because he was saying, I gotta get away, and I was like, I like that, but I think maybe we could like come up with something a little more like specific. So we went back and forth and came up with, I gotta shake you off, I gotta shake it off, and so many people are telling me like that's their favorite song because it can apply to a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a life situation, a job, whatever. Like, just, you got to just shake everything off. So when he was saying, got to get away, I guess that probably inspired the Calgon, take me away thought to come into his mind. I was like, JD, and Bow Wow was in the other room, right? So I was like, JD, people don't know Calgon, take me away. That's from like 1901. I'm like, we were babies. Like, what do you, nobody knows. Don't nobody know that anymore. And he was like, yes, they do. We're gonna bring it back. And I was like, all right, we'll see. So I went and Bow Wow was in the room. I'm like, Bow Wow, do you know something called Calgon, take me away? And he was like, I think Snoop. I know it from Snoop because Snoop used it in his song. So I was like, all right. Bow Wow knows it.
So he knew what it was? Bow Wow knew what that was?
He didn't know what it actually was. He just knew that Snoop used it.
Okay.
Shake It Off was called something else. And I can't remember what the song was when we first started making the record. But it wasn't Shake It Off. It was something else. And it had something to do with, I got to get away from this situation. Even though that's what Shake It Off means, is to get it, I got to let it go, get away from me. But it was something closer to meaning get away. And only thing I could think of when the get away type of thing at that point was just like Calgon, take me away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Calgon, I want to be, I thought it explained best to get away. But I think when I said it, I was showing my age too. I showed my age because I guess a Calgon commercial ain't been on in the last 10 years or something. So she was like, Calgon? Nah. She wasn't with the Calgon line. She actually was like, it's too, like, oh, don't nobody say Calgon no more. Maybe it was a vintage, but I think it was a vintage line that became something that people was like, what is Calgon? You know what I mean? Bow Wow didn't know what Calgon was. She asked him, he said, he thought Snoop said something about it before, but I think he was thinking about Calvin. And I don't know, it just, the younger generation, they ain't under. So
finally, in your opinion, in comparison to your previous albums. What separates the emancipation of Mimi from those, and why do you feel like it resonated so well with radio and the audience and now the Grammys?
I feel like timing is really everything in a lot of ways. I do feel like I had to go through some struggles and learn some lessons and kind of be publicly stepped on in order to be embraced in a lot of ways, because that's just human nature. But aside from that, because if it were me, like if I had to rate my own stuff, I definitely still love Butterfly as an album. I think, not to be like, whoa, I'm so ahead of my time, but perhaps it was a little ahead of its time, because songs like Breakdown and songs like, even like, I did a duet with Drew Hill on that record of a remake of The Beautiful Ones, and Baby Doll was still one of my favorites. I was playing it the other day when I was getting ready, and Tasha, who was doing my hair, said, "Oh, is this something new you putting this out?" I'm like, "No, this is from Butterfly," but they never released it. So it's like a lot of those songs that to me are like my favorite little gems never got put out. Even like on an album as big as Daydream, I was still under the control of a huge conglomerate that didn't want me to go to urban. So even after 3 huge hits, Fantasy, which the pop people were only allowed to know it was a pop song. They didn't know the ODB version. Now everybody knows that because, you know.
That was the version.
Right. But to the Suits, that wasn't the version.
Okay.
So, you know, and then One Sweet Day and then Always Been Baby. Still, they made me put out like a real straightforward ballad, and I wrote it. I know how to do that, you know, afterwards. But I wanted a song called Underneath the Stars, which to me is some of my best writing, lyrically, melodically, and in every way. And it was never released. So, you know, I think that this time around, the great thing is the songs that I love were allowed to be released.
Wow.
And I was, you know, the people that I'm dealing with, everyone from, you know, everybody at the label really, you know, is so supportive of me being me. And I think the fact that L.A. Reid came there was really a godsend, because he didn't try to put me in a box that I don't belong in. He didn't try to say, let's capitalize on what people think this or people think that. He was just like, you make great records and I love what you do. And I was like, hi, I love what you do, and you've inspired me to be the writer and the artist that I am. So, you know, it was such a blessing to have someone there who understands and gets it. And so for the first time, it was like, let's just do you.
And all the ducks were lined up, and here we are, right?
Here we are, and it's a blessing. Truthfully, I believe that it's about faith, beyond and above and beyond everything. It's about never losing sight of the fact that God put you through everything you go through for a reason. And if you don't lose faith through all that, you make it through, and your blessings will be even more abundant than ever before.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, good luck at the Grammys.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you there.
Okay.
All right, darling.
That's good.
Well put.
Thank you.
Very well. I'm glad we did this.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry it was such a